Hello, I'm Dan Edmunds from Tarian Technology in Welshpool.
And I'm Detective Constable Gareth Jordan. I'm based here in Carmarthenshire Police HQ.
And today we're going to talk about fraud and how it can affect your company. In April, Action Fraud estimated coronavirus fraudsters had conned about £2 million from victims across the UK. Fraud and cybercrime have been rising because burglaries have become more difficult in lockdown and drug deals are harder for gangs because movement is restricted. How can we protect ourselves against online fraudsters who play in our darkest fears to make themselves a profit at our expense?
Well, I think that there's a recurring theme here in as much as if it seems too good to be true, it normally is. Or why is it I'm getting that offer? When we look at things on Facebook or when we look at things on Amazon or when we look at things online, we often go to the next website, and then when we go back to where we've just been on some social media page, we suddenly see that there's an advert which pertains exactly to what we've just been looking at on that other website. We could have been looking at something like on B&Q on a do-it-yourself website, and all of a sudden when you go back onto Facebook or somewhere else, those ads will be really specific about what you were just looking at before. And that's part and parcel of the internet keeping cookies, keeping traces about you, your browser trying to be helpful but also selling to you. That's why Facebook is so powerful, because the fact is that it traces where you go to next and where you've been from, all those sorts of things. And we get used to the fact that we get these offers which are very relevant to us. So because the fact we've got to that stage where we are so used to that happening, it doesn't come out as a surprise sometimes when someone phones us up and starts to talk to us about things, and we then make that connection and think, oh, actually that sounds pretty good, yeah. And it may well be that either, yeah, they may well have hacked our system, it may well be that they're following us, it may just be that they are a friend of ours on Facebook because we have such an open profile that we've allowed that to happen. So when we start looking at, stopping criminals tracking us, a lot of it comes down again to ourselves. We do not leave our front doors open most of the time when we leave our house. We close them and then hopefully also lock them. And the same thing with our internet. What do we do to make sure people don't follow us? For the companies, it's in their interest to have our profiles as open as possible so that then they can sell us as much stuff. However, within every social platform, there are privacy settings that we can then go in and choose for ourselves. And it's as simple sometimes as Googling, make myself more secure on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on whatever I'm using, and following the best way of shutting our lives down to people we don't know. And sometimes we are far too gregarious and far too open within our social media platforms, and we don't realise how much information we're giving away about ourselves. And so first of all, I would say, have a look at your privacy settings. Make sure that you are locked down. Make sure that everything you're doing online is exactly how it should be for yourself. If an app has upgraded itself recently, have you checked the security settings again? Because sometimes the privacy settings will change as they upgrade and update an app. The Facebook app updates every 2 weeks on your phone. They can do whatever they like to that app during that time. Check, make sure, go in. And it's making sure, it's a bit like before you go to bed, you make sure that the back door, the front door, the windows, everything is shut properly to stop anybody breaking in. However, how often do we check our privacy settings on social media? How often do we check or change our passwords on some of the most important areas in our lives, such as our email accounts? Does our email account have a separate password to everything else that we've got, a really strong, secure password? Do our other accounts all have decent, secure passwords? Because the fact is that if we've got one that's the same, that could be manipulated to then try and get into other accounts. Offers are one of the biggest things you'll find on the internet that are the lure. They'll say, have a look at this. This is only for a time-limited offer. This is only going to be around for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. That time-limited is often exactly what the criminals will do. They socially engineer us because we don't want to miss out on a bargain. And if we can get it now, rather than having to pay 50% extra tomorrow, we're going to go and try and get it now. And we then lose the actual sort of thought process from our head, and our heart starts taking over. We think, oh, we're just going to do that now. And that's the whole point. Think about it first of all. There's a really good campaign called Take 5. And the Take 5 campaign is exactly that. You take 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, whatever it is, but just stop, think, and then re-engage with that offer and see, is it really what it says it is? When you look at the web browser address, where does it go to? Does that go to where it says it goes to, or does it go to a really long-winded website address that you've never heard of before? So if it was meant to be for Amazon, does that go back to amazon.co.uk, or does it go to some spurious web address that you've never heard of before? Because as soon as it starts going past that main web domain, you are being led down a path that is nothing to do with Amazon. If you get a phone call and it pretends to be from your bank, from your build society, from the Inland Revenue, and they have nowadays got to the stage where they can even manipulate the numbers that they call from. Because the first thing we're always told is, if you're in trouble with your bank account, always phone the number on the back of your credit card or your bank account card. They will now make it look like it is that number on the back of your account card that is coming through to phone you when they're trying their vishing. So the first thing they'll do is say, have a look at the number we've just phoned you on, have a look at the back of your bank card, that is the number we're phoning you from. So we are NatWest, we are Halifax, we are HSBC, whoever we are. The fact is the bank will never phone you from that number. That number is for you to phone them on. There's no 0800 number normally. So they can't phone out that number. But that's what criminals are doing. They're making it look like it to gain that first element of trust. Once they've got that element of trust and they're talking to you and you're carrying on, now they can carry on with that social engineering. So the first step is, think about it. If the bank has phoned you, put the phone down, wait for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, make sure no one's on the line still, pick the phone back up again, and then phone that number that is on the back of your bank card and ask to make inquiries. Have you just phoned me? Does the Inland Revenue ever phone you up and offer you money? No. Does the Inland Revenue take money in the form of Amazon or iTunes gift cards? No. Or Steam vouchers or cryptocurrency? No, they don't. Is there a way of getting in touch with the Inland Revenue rather than just speaking to that individual that's spoken to you on the phone right now? Yes. Put the phone down, wait for 2 minutes, phone up the Inland Revenue yourself, or email them through their secure gateway that you must have got an account with, and go through it that way. The Inland Revenue will never send bailiffs into you. They will never send people through your door without correspondence through the post, first of all, as well. And it's going to take a long time for that. If you feel threatened, if you feel that this person is not from the Inland Revenue, put the phone down. Don't keep talking to them. They're most likely miles away in another country. They do not know you. You are just another victim as far as they're concerned, and it's business. It's their business to do that. So if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Take 5, whatever it is. Talk to friends. All of us have got people who know something about computers, or they've got a son or a daughter or a dad or a mum or a friend who's in IT. Use them. Google scams, certain scams that are going on. There's also, you can say, who called me on, you can Google that, and who called me, and type in that phone number. And if it comes up as it's a suspicious phone number, then there's your answer as well. And if you really, really feel threatened, phone 101, talk to the police, because that's what the police are there for.